Hello and welcome into the Cubs on Deck podcast. I'm one of your hosts. I'm your host today. My name is Greg Huss, and today I am joined by Cubs prospect and Knoxville Smoky and Iowa Cub this past year, Hayden Cantrelle. Hayden, how's it going, man? Thanks for coming on.
Going great, brother. Thanks for having me.
This should be good. I before I interview every player, I kind of sit down and figure out what, like, generally speaking, like what questions I'm going to feed you and stuff like that throughout the interview. And when I do that, a lot of times I'm looking at like how to order these questions. So a lot of times it's like, all right, starting with like pre-draft and it's draft stuff and it's like time and pros and just kind of goes chronologically. But with you, like, there's so much fun stuff that we can talk about here today that I was kind of just like all over the place with my like outline of my interview here today. Cause it's just, there's so many interesting turns in the span of like your career up to this point. And I was really glad that you reached out to me on the YouTube channel. Like we posted, I think it was last episode we did.
Yep.
And at the end, I was like, hey, like if there's listeners out there that want certain players on the show, let me know who you want to hear and we can try to get them on. And you hopped into the comments and you're like, hey, I'll join. I was like, hell yeah, that's awesome. So that's how this came to be, which is pretty sweet. But I guess I'll lead off by like, generally speaking, how I know we chat a little bit offline, but like how's the off season going? You've had I guess a couple months now of the off season, so you're able to kind of get away from baseball for a bit, right?
Yeah. The off season's been going off to a great start. You know, it's great because I get to do things like this. This is a little bit easier to kind of coordinate. But I'm probably, like you said, about 2 months in, and the whole first month of the off season was really me kind of watching the Cubs from at home, thinking like, I don't know, I may have to go pinch run, something like that. Because towards the end of the year, that was something they were putting in my mind to kind of stay ready for, alongside playing, the outfield more often, throughout the 6-game weeks, going from short, left, third, center, second, right was a new like thing for me to practice. So going to this off season was giving me some new plans to approach that, like defensively, how I'm going to train in that regard. But man, it's been nice to be home, start building up the body again. I didn't really turn off the button until the World Series was over because the baseball juices were kind of flowing. So right now the workload isn't big as far as like baseball's concerned, but a lot of like physical working out, and then just trying to take those last meetings I had at the end of the year and try to formulate a good plan.
Dude, I didn't even think about like you from the perspective of like the pinch running things. Like major league teams at the end of the year are always looking to add a little bit of speed on their major league roster, like when rosters expand or even the playoffs and things like that. And I mean, I think you swiped 30 bags or so this year.
Yeah.
And so man, that's so were you like, the minor league season was over, but you were like kind of at the ready to roll in case you were called upon to be that guy in the majors?
Yeah, and in a way, I wasn't with the taxi squad in Arizona. So like it didn't feel like direct, but like I felt like the pressure to be vigilant in that regard. Because every day of the last month or month and a half was just ball out today and see what happens tomorrow. Like ball out today and see what happens tomorrow. So. It's a good headspace. The postseason's exciting. That's why we do this. We train in January and February, and we leave our homes so that we could get a chance in October. That's what you dream about. So it was fun to kind of like, I don't know, think about it that way as an athlete.
For sure. All right, I got some kind of quick hits up at the top of the show here. Walk-up song. What was your walk-up song this past year? Are you sticking with it going into 2026? What's the go-to there?
I've had like a short rotation of a few songs my whole life. My walk-up song September by Earth, Wind and Fire, like funky. That's what I like. So that was walk-up song from my junior year of high school to current.
Really?
With maybe a couple songs mixed in between. The other one was And the Beat Goes On by is that the Whispers, or it's one of the funk bands. So I mixed that one in last year, and then I got 5 on it because that was like my nickname in college and whatnot. and I did that for only one season. So, but besides that, September, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I don't know, it feels right. And the last season, it was cool to watch the fans kind of like, oh wait.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. It's like, so I was talking with Cade Snell a couple of weeks ago about his walk-up song, and like I mentioned to him, it's like you kind of balance where it's a walk-up song to pump you up and like get you ready for that bat, but like as you get up to like AA and AAA, there's more fans there, and they like really get into some of these walk-up songs. And so like honestly, September is one of those where it's great for both you and the fans. That's all.
In a way, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So I know back before your time in college, you pitched in high school, right? You were on the bump.
Yeah.
If you were to take the mound right now, what would you be pumping as far as velo goes?
Oh, velo. I probably hit like a 3. My last high school game was the last game I pitched, and I threw like 106 pitches.
Okay, yeah.
And in high school, preface, like I was never really a big, like I didn't want to pitch because I wanted to sign out of high school and play the middle infield.
Yeah.
But at the time, guys would come watch me play, and I'd be on the mound. They wouldn't get to watch me play shortstop. So that was always something like I always like took was like, okay, if I'm gonna do it, the Nunez from the Sandlot.
Yeah. Yep.
So in my senior year, when I'd wind up like Nunez because I was like, I'm just gonna have fun like that. And so my last game, in the 7th inning, the 2 hardest pitches I ever threw were pitched like 104 and 106, and they were both 92 miles an hour. So that was like,
good Lord, dude.
But it was interesting because that game I probably started out like 87 to 88, and I gave him a 3-run home run in the 1st inning. And then innings like 3 through 5, I kept the pitch count down, threw a ton of sliders, and the velo came down.
Yep.
And then I hit a home run in like the 6th inning, and then I was juiced again. I started throwing hard. So if I had to throw in a professional game, I would be amped and nervous. So I would throw a little nervous, probably something, maybe 90. I'll be humble and say 90, but I could rear back and maybe hit a 2 or a 3.
Problem is when position players pitch, they have you like do like lob it up there as opposed to actually humming it in there. But
yeah, you can't get hurt pitching.
Yeah, exactly. That's fair. All right, who is your teammate in the organization that's the biggest trash talker?
Ooh, biggest trash talker.
Whether it's to like to your teammates or to the other team or like in the weight room or wherever it may be.
That AAA locker room we had was elite. I can't lie. We had the best group blend of vets and hungry young guys.
Yeah.
So the culture was actually, it's like, it's nice. It's like, it's almost like, why are we not, pranking somebody? You know what I mean? I don't know. I would say like Riley Martin. Riley Martin on the mound. He'll get like pissed off.
I heard that last year. When I was talking with guys, because I interviewed Riley last year, and I asked him about it because I think that Birdsell and somebody else had mentioned something about Riley, and I asked him, I go, hey, what's up? Like, you seem like you wouldn't be talking that much trash, and he's like, nah, like if I'm striking a guy out to end the inning, like I'm out there talking trash.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say like a lot of the guys on our roster or I've played with this year were just a bunch of guys who are just like not acting like they made it, you know what I mean? Which I think is like sick because like just like deserving success. So dudes are popping off and blowing off, but like they're not like, they don't even have to bring the other team into it. It's like it's us. We're all gonna celebrate you balling. I don't know. I think that's a little bit more. I think that creates a little bit more good instead of like. How about that, bro? I don't know.
Yep. No, I feel you. Yeah. All right. I was looking up. I was on your college like page where it talks about your stats and all that good stuff, and I saw that your sophomore year at Louisiana, right? Louisiana. Is it Louisiana Lafayette? What's the?
Everybody knows it's Louisiana Lafayette. It's officially University of Louisiana. So
okay, and that changed like happened not too long ago, right? Like that was pretty recent.
Yeah, like 2019 maybe.
Okay, I thought so. I thought I wasn't crazy thinking like picturing in my mind Louisiana Lafayette. Okay,
no, you're not.
Your sophomore year, you had a game where you hit 3 homers in a game. You also had a game where you hit for the cycle, and then your freshman year, you had a game where you had 5 hits in one game.
Yeah.
What is the most special? Like, what's the most memorable of those three types of games?
Yeah. Well, the first two you named were back-to-back games, so that was a breakthrough in my career in general.
Yeah.
I was struggling at the time, kind of like I did in my draft year. I was just a slow starter for whatever reason that was, and once I got hot, like it was almost like, dude, if you just played a little bit better in the first 10 games, So that was always like that was my sheet or whatever. So I was like struggling up to that point. I was hitting like 170, and on a Sunday, I was like in a 2-strike count, and I was leading off the game, and I was out in front of a changeup, and it stayed fair for a homer. And for me, I'm like a real like those things can really like get me going. Like one little thing. Now, if I'm struggling, I'm looking for that breakthrough. But for me, like a barrel can like mean a lot more is coming. So it was lead off that game with like a out in front home run. I hit a double my next at bat, a home run after that, and then they brought in a lefty, and then I hit a home run right-handed. So
so you're from both sides of the plate. That's
yeah,
wild.
in a 3 home run game. That was the only game in my career I've ever done that.
Yeah.
And then I hit another double, and then the next game I was playing my best friends from high school. They went to the Northwestern State. We were playing them for the midweek. So I'm coming off this Sunday game and I'm playing my best friend. So I had the highest leg kick, the best rhythm. But it just taught me a lot about myself. So that's usually the game I'll pick was like the cycle game because the next game we played at Tulane the night after that, I hit another home run. And then we played App State on Friday, and I hit another one. So that was just like a period of time where I was like, I really got it. The freshman year game was really good. The 5 hits in a game. That was against Texas State. That was against Zach Lee. I got one off of him in that game.
Okay.
But that was just that. I think that was just more of like me scrapping to survive, and it was almost a good like visual of like coming out of being 18 years old and trying to find like being told you're going to play day one, and you got to find like how you're going to factor into the college lineup. And so I was a little bit more like slap it around, contact rate, run the bases well. So that was that record got broken though my last year.
Okay. Yeah.
So I had set the school record that day, and my sophomore year later that year, the second baseman Hunter Castles he went 6 for 6 on 7 pitches. So,
good Lord.
Unbelievable. But yeah. So
That's
those
crazy.
are some good times. I would definitely say the cycle game is what kind of like showed me is like, okay, dude, you can be in the hole, and all of a sudden, I would have been like probably the player of the week for the national whatever. That was the week the kid from ECU threw a perfect game. I don't remember who that was, but that was that week.
Yeah. No, I mean that's cool that those it's wild. First of all, those things happen in the back-to-back games, the 3 homers in the cycle. But like it's also, I mean, talk about a confidence boost, right? Like that can kind of change the trajectory of your baseball career if that's like the mentality that you're kind of instilling in yourself that you can do these type of things. So
Absolutely.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, I want to get right. Actually, I want to get right into the YouTube channel because I think that it's so cool. First of all, I think it's amazing that you do that. But I guess talk a little bit about. So you have a YouTube channel. Five Guy is the name of your YouTube channel, where you kind of just do like day in the life of a minor league baseball player, day in the life of just as you're kind of going across your season. Talk to me a little bit about like how that YouTube channel came to be and how it's kind of changed over the years maybe, but like I said, before you go, I think it's a super unique thing, right? Like that we don't see a whole lot of like baseball players in general doing this. And so like you're kind of getting a sneak peek behind the curtain on how things operate,
Yeah. For starters, my dad is he was a broadcast major. So he like one of his class projects, he had to make like a VHS of like a VHS project, and he chose to do a like an unfiltered, unrated version of college road trips. And it was back then they were going to like Western Kentucky or something like that. By the way, they had way more fun than we did. Okay. But that was kind of just always like cool for me to kind of think about. I remember going to college and like just wanting to I was a YouTube kid. Like I grew up with the iPod Touch.
Yeah.
I was like probably in the fourth of the generation that didn't have to ask their parents something, just YouTube it and like you can learn something. Like I did a lot of that. So I was always like, what's the life of a college baseball player like? And I think when it really started is when I was like, during my freshman year, I had a contract to go to Falmouth from Cape Cod in the summer. And I'm like, dude, what's this going to be like? And the only relevant video on YouTube was from like 8 years prior, which was like, I was like, I can remake this in a way that I think can be a little bit more relevant. Because this is like, it's always been known as the real deal, but like, you know, with media and it's not like media popular, you know, it's like, and I think when by the time I got to the Cape Cod, like media teams for colleges was like a new thing. And like the social media programs are starting to blow up. So Cape Cod started getting some good content, but prior to that, there wasn't. So I made that video in the summer with Peyton Glavin and a few other buddies that, you know, that have benefited my career so much just being around them, all those good players, those 2 summers. We made a video of day in life in the Cape Cod, and I made it on some bad software, some awful edits. It drags on at times. And I just wanted to kind of like give my perspective of it. And then after that video, by the time I got home from the summer, was like, it was a good video. And people were like, oh, you should do more. So I was like, well, let me just put together some videos. I'm not playing any games. I'm in college, so it's kind of weird, like with the content thing. Like, so when the off season comes back around, I'm gonna make sure I get all that content. Well, by the next year, I got to the Cape Cod again. I had made a couple college road trip videos. And then by the time we were in the Cape Cod, it was the Trey Cruz, Baron Radcliffe, Blake Dunn, Zach DeLoach, Bryce Miller.
Yeah.
I could go on. And we were just making vlogs. And after our first week up in the Cape, we lost all of our off days. We lost all of our off days after the first week because of rainouts.
Okay.
So we had to play 31 straight.
Oh.
So we started showing up to the field with like frisbees and just like we're just trying to get through it, but we just having the most fun. And that's when we just dove into like my YouTube. We went to Fenway. I recorded the Cape Cod All-Star game, and it was just loose. So we had the camera in the dugout, like, you know. So I'm grateful for everybody that was cool about that. But part of that was it was great for team camaraderie. It was just like another thing that, like a show we all kind of watch. You know, we kind of followed along that. Like they enjoyed participating in. And so it's been kind of fun to like watch that happen. And then other people see it from from the internet. And then like, hopefully they understand, like you see me in person, like I'm the same. Like I'm equally as loose and conversative. You know, if you like, what's up, Five Guy me or whatever. So it's a good thing for me outside of the sport that kind of keeps me from like getting too focused on the wrong things. You know, I try to like make this a perspective, and YouTube has become not like a business engine or anything, but more of like a timestamp of like where I was at in this period of time for me when I go back and watch it. So it's like, I don't need to make the content anymore for like going viral anymore. Like I don't make the best content when I do that. I don't even appreciate it. So it's
has
more
that changed?
so for that.
Has that changed for you over time? Like when you started, it was like that. Was that a lot of the mindset of like, oh, like people will really like this, like other people watching will like this, versus like now it's like you're doing it because like you enjoy doing it, and other people might like it too. But and honestly, a lot of times like I've seen from stuff is like when you show like you're passionate about something, you feel good about something, then other people probably dig it too. But like, has that changed like mindset for you as you've made content over the years?
Yeah, I think it's been just. Yes, I would say yes. It's become more clear. Like that needs to be the focus, you know, like I was exactly how I'd interpret it, you know, because you're thinking about being like, oh, I'm gonna be 100,000 subscribers, and then like, you know, I don't even need baseball, you know what I mean? Like that's crazy thought. But in reality, like that can come from authenticity. But it's hard to make a lot of projects of something that like you're not in. It's like, oh, we totally forced that, you know? And I just get so cringe off of that. Like one of my best videos has like 100,000 video, and I cannot stand seeing a clip from it. It's just like an indoor cage workout, and I'm like, swing's terrible. I'm swinging for exit velo. Like, it's just not me, you know. But like
Yeah.
that's just like a good example of like what others can appreciate and you can appreciate. And then sometimes you just see where you can meet in the middle. But you know,
Is that something like after years from now, when the baseball days are done, is that something you want to kind of stick with and keep doing stuff like that, even if it's not surrounding baseball?
yeah, I'll always have that as like
Yeah.
another social media window. On the side, I do like hitting lessons, but I also do like movement training, and that's
Okay. Yeah.
so I'm doing like slow motion breakdowns and stuff like that. So like my following is really there right now because they're following my career more or less as a baseball player. So I
Mm-hmm.
try to like keep it like that. But like over the years, like that can be an engine for, you know, whatever it is I would decide to do
For
at
sure.
45 because I'm gonna play till I'm 44.
Hell yeah. I love it. All right, man. So the something one of actually I got from one of your videos you posted about the league that you were playing in during COVID. The league that you started? Did you start a league?
Yeah. I started a league in 2020, and I also played indie ball on the back end of it.
Okay. All right. So I know one of the leagues that you played in was the City of Champions Cup.
Yeah.
That's not what you started, right? Like that
No.
was the indie ball league you played
No.
in.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Talk to me about the City of Champions Cup, because I'm looking at there were 4 teams in that league. That's in 2020, like during COVID, right?
Yeah.
And so the 4 teams you were on the Nerds Herd was the name
Yeah.
of the team. There was
Yeah.
the Joliet Slammers, the Tully Monsters, and the Chicago Deep Dish. All incredible names of teams.
Yeah.
What was that like? Was that where'd you play? What was that experience like during in the middle of COVID?
So we played in Joliet, Illinois at like a neutral site.
Yeah.
It was like a site that they had like set up where for like distancing and
Mm-hmm.
masks and all that stuff. But I had lived like, so I guess I don't know where everybody else lived, but I lived like an hour away because I found an Airbnb with some buddies in a cabin,
Okay.
and we play. I think it's like every other day or something like that, or like 3 times a week. I think it was something like that, maybe less. 3, sometimes 2, and that was just an opportunity. I remember my agent called me at the time. He was like, "Yo, they got a league in Illinois." I was like, "Dude, I want at bats, so I just
Yeah.
want to go hit." And it was great because that was like it was a good environment also for the YouTube, like we
Uh-huh.
talked about. But yeah, there was some. I remember there was a guy from the Dodgers. I didn't know his name. Corey Howell was in that league. He's
Okay.
a one ended up being one of my better friends. But yeah, Andre Nevy with the Milwaukee Brewers. There was a bunch of talent. And there was a bunch of dudes like wide span, and it was just
Yeah.
fun to watch like guys come together for the sake of just like happy to be on the field again, sort
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah, so that's what that was.
So then,
Talent level was like, you know, low A-ish maybe,
yeah,
but
yeah. So then before or after that you started your own league?
before that,
Okay, talk to me about that. That's wild to me. Talk to me how that happened.
yeah. So for the same reasons, you know, I'm a kid. It's been stuck up in my house, and we just been hitting all day with my boys. All we would do is wake up at 10 a.m., go bust a lift, go hit, go home, nap, eat, game. At 10 p.m., we'd go hit the cage again as like our night session.
Uh-huh.
We were doing that because we didn't know when end was in sight. And
Yeah.
like all of my boys, like we were all like thinking about the same things, like we can't play. And I was like, dude, we got a roster. Like, how hard is it for us to rent out a field
Yeah.
and get 9v9? You know, put uniforms. Uniforms isn't even important.
Yeah.
But I was like, extra things we can do on the side if we get it all handled. Like, we can pay an umpire. We can get
Yeah.
some music. So I brought some T-shirts out for the guys. I brought a black set and a white set for all the boys. So we had like a little team. Some of my buddies from high school are umpires, so they umpired
That's
the
so cool.
game. My brother and sister ran the gate. And then like one of my buddies who's like he can work at a club sometimes. He's got the mic, so it's like
That's so cool.
we're in a good set. And then like we had people coming out because people want to go see some
Yeah.
things. So we had it was like an old minor league ballpark. I forget the name of that park, to be honest. So I don't know when's the last minor league games they played there.
Yeah.
But we rented it out, old stadium. But guys aren't complaining about dirt. Guys aren't complaining
Yeah.
about the quality of the grass or the batter's box. It's like it was the Sandlot League, and that's what we called it. So
did you? Okay, I was kind of curious on what you call it because yeah, literally, it's the Sandlot. It's you put together a Sandlot League. That's exactly what you did. That's so cool.
And it was awesome. And I was like, I want content. And
Yeah.
one of my buddies he had an up and building production company, in which he's doing very good now.
Yeah.
Because during COVID, he started grinding on the production company stuff. So we had him shoot it for us. We had drones in the air. We had gimbals. Like, it was sick. It was awesome.
That's amazing. I mean, if we're still basing around that 2020 COVID year, you're the first guy I've had on that was part of that 2020 draft class. I've had guys from draft classes before and draft classes after, but I've never talked to somebody that was part of that class. It was, I guess, your only experience in the draft, right? Or were you weren't drafted out of high school, were you?
I was.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I didn't do any negotiation past the first and second day. So
okay.
I got courtesy picked, and I was in the swimming pool, and my family was grocery shopping. So
what was the 2020 draft? How I know it, 'cause obviously it was cut down to 5 rounds, so the shorter draft. It was just a weird experience overall with guys that weren't able to be scouted as much during the spring college baseball season. What was that, I guess, from the spring season into the draft experience? What was that like?
Yeah, 2020 draft was unlike all of them. I made a YouTube video about it too. So kind of like that morning I vlogged that entire day.
Yeah.
But I would say like the draft was. Wait, what was the question specifically?
I guess what did it feel? I guess what was it like? I mean, being a shorter draft, and then obviously like you were 5th round, and not sure how you'd fall in that mix with it being a shorter draft. Like, what was that like? I guess.
Right. So I had started off like that fall and that preseason, coming back in the spring, like really hot, and like optimistic about going pretty early.
Yeah.
So when that draft started, obviously I had struggled in the 10, 12 games prior to that. And so I was like, dang, and I was just like the Cape Cod workload I had put prior to that was like, that was some of my better work. So I was like, in my head, I had already like done enough, I had thought, but in that draft, you watched a lot of like the money and the pooling just go early, like first pick, second pick, and then underslot. So I was a guy, because of how I'd started, that was going to fall like 3 to 4. And I was watching guys go before me for way less. And that were like, no offense, but I didn't think they were that caliber of player. So it was a lot because I had to manage in that draft. Just like, dude, you like going back to school for real? And it's like, no, like that's not something I had planned on,
Yeah.
But over the course of it, I had to like wait it out. And then eventually, like the money, I guess, came about in the 5th round. That wasn't there earlier, but it was crazy because you were watching a lot of guys get slotted, and then it was forcing a lot of guys like me to have to like, I don't know, am I going to sign free agency, dude? Or like, there was a bunch of teams at one point offering like the same amount. They're like, yeah, we're not offering slot, we're offering 150 less.
Yeah.
And that was like, it was a lot of teams. So it was like, it was odd. But I was fortunate to get an opportunity, and I'm not going to give it back. So
you got a little bit. I know we said about a half hour. You got a little bit extra time if we.
I got all day, bro.
All right, sweet. So because like I said, we're just getting through some of this. So one of the other things that I think is unique about you, and guys that I haven't really had on this podcast yet, but you were drafted by the Brewers, and you spent time in multiple different organizations, right? You spent time with the Giants and the Marlins, and now obviously in the Cubs system. I guess we'll start off from the fact that like what is that? What are the differences, I guess, between organizations, right? You've seen what it's like in other organizations. What is the Cubs organization like, and what do they do really well now that you're here compared to other organizations, or what's different in general?
I think the simple difference is like the personalities. So like, as being with the Cub, I've gotten to be around like obviously all your hitting coaches, on your on-field development is like, those relationships are pretty specific. Like, and that's just like by person to person. The the cool thing with the Cubs, I've had great staff and offense, defense. Met Sammy Sosa, had the opportunity to ask Mark McGwire questions. When I was with the Giants, got to ask Will Clark questions, hang out in the dugout with him. And he's a fellow Louisiana boy, so we got a different little like connection. So that was like one of the special ones. Besides that, all the organizations can differ as like the amount of like, here's how much data we're showing you to justify what we want you to do, and here's what we want you to do. You know, and in the same way, it's the same thing. I feel like, I think the only thing you could maybe think about is like how realistic are some of the goals being created for certain types of players. So I'm not even talking about myself specifically, but like how realistic is the plan, and then what kind of efficacy can we make it, you know? And I feel like as a Cub this year, I've had the opportunity to really maximize my base running, you know, as I feel like with Tallarico, I've really like stepped it up to another game. But different orgs can give you that very specific, perfect detail. Like my Pensacola hitting staff they were great for me. I didn't do great, so I didn't help them with their job, sort of thing, you know? So those are like the kind of things that I think about, you know. In all spots, I've had a position to be successful and have a good plan and some objective. This is what you need to do. I would say in the past few years, whether it be myself or the Giants and the Cubs have really helped me take my game to where I'm thinking I could be a Major League Baseball player.
That's cool. You were part of a trade from the Brewers to the Marlins back in what, 22? Was it 20?
Yep. 2 trades in 22. Yep.
Yeah. What's that? What's that? Like, is that something that just completely catches you off guard? Like you have no idea that's coming, and all of a sudden you get a call, and you're in a new organization.
Yeah, I mean, after my first season, you kind of like go through a deadline. You get to the end of the year, and like you start to hear like, okay, this is when guys get traded. This is when guys get dealt. You know, I got traded the day before the season started, so I was like, dude, are we serious? Sort of thing.
That's crazy.
But we were playing an exhibition game against like it was William Carey University or something. We're in Biloxi on a Wednesday, and we play opening night Friday in Pensacola against the Blue Wahoos. This is when I'm with the Shuckers in 22. We just got here from Arizona. And Corey Howell is my roommate at the time, and so pregame, he's going. We're on the stretch lines, and we have like a huddle, and we're like, what? This is weird. And then they're like, guys, Corey Howes got traded to the Padres, and we're all like, whoa, dude, congrats, you know, for Victor Caratini or whatever. So we're like, dude, that's sick. So he's like in the locker room picking up all of his stuff. And then like I'm going to the weight room for like a pregame like workout before like we go out into the stretch, like to go out on the line. And then like trainer comes grab me, he goes, hey, go to Mikey's office. And I'm like, dude, did I just get cut, bro? Like what's going on? And he goes, dude, bad news for us, good news for you. You got traded to the Miami Marlins. And I was like, wow. So I was like, okay. So on opening day, I played my boys. So it was crazy.
Yeah, you just got traded essentially across to the other dugout.
Yeah. And then 2 months later, I was in AA Pensacola, not doing great, and I got traded, and the Giants sent me back to rookie ball. So I had a growth moment in that summer. I ended up playing rookie ball for 2 weeks, San Jose, California for like a month, and then finished in high A with Pat Bailey and Trevor McDonald, Grant McCrae. So it was a good year for growth. I found a lot of digging deep and just controlling where my feet are. It's like, you know, you can get better. You can choose to sink or swim right now. So,
I mean, I feel like, so like, the first trade was you were in AA at the time, right? And
correct.
You were being traded for a guy that was in the majors, right? And so with Alex Jackson being in the majors, I mean, that's got to make you feel pretty damn good, right? Like being a part of that trade for a major league player when you're currently in AA, you know?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yeah.
It's you thinking like, you know, obviously that's what everybody tells you. It's like, oh, somebody sees something in you, whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, take that for what it is. That's cool, I guess. You know,
That's a whirlwind. That's a whirlwind year though, being in 3 different organizations over the
yeah.
course of 1 year.
Yeah, it was weird, man. You know, you go to being in a place where you're gonna be like, oh yeah, dude, we're gonna make it to the big leagues together. You know, like whatever. Like that's so college. That's like showing up in the fall and you're like, yeah, we're gonna win the conference tournament. You know, like,
A lot can happen between now and then.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
And so I've become like I don't know, a better professional, I guess, in that regard.
Yeah.
But I really think what's really gotten better in that is like my ability to like grow relationships. You know, I am like an introvert myself personally. I do recharge off myself, but you can't do this without people in your corner, bro. It's impossible.
Yeah.
Whether you got to pick up the phone and call home, I call my best friend all the time. But like, you know, going through that trade it can be lonely, and
sure.
you know, so you gotta like evolve and like, yeah, you gotta be friends with 17-year-olds sometimes, you know. It's like you're like, this is like my little brother, you know. I'm like, I don't want to be friends with y'all, but you know, the cool part is you do, and you realize how much you have in common, and how much they can still cheer for your success because you're obviously in their way. You know, that's what like rookie ball was like when I was with the Giants, you know, and I got promoted. We stopped the van at the end of the complex. I'm looking at my phone. It says 105 on my Snapchat. And I'm like, why is this even possible? It's 10 o'clock. The manager stops the bus, which we're riding a little short bus. And guys, want to let you know, Cantrell's going to San Jose, and the bus like erupts, you know, and they like go crazy for me. And I'm like, dang, dude, like I got it twisted in my head. I got to fix that. So my life changed in like that 2-3 month standpoint. And I was just like, I had a better perspective of like what it is I need to be doing, how I can be a better teammate, those little things. So that was those 2 trades taught me that for sure.
So you, prior to last season, prior to the 2024 season, you were picked up by the Cubs in the Rule 5 draft. So I talked about the trade. The trade kind of caught you off guard, right? Was the Rule 5 draft, was that something that you were prepared for more than the trade? Or no?
No, I had no idea. I didn't know how that worked. And I was like, they didn't protect me. So I'm like, I think that I had it reversed. I was like, if they protect you, it's like, okay, you know, somebody could pick you up. I didn't understand how it worked exactly. So I was like, somebody texted me, he's like, congrats, bro. And I was like, no one called me and told me I got traded, or I just started getting congrats texts. Go Cubs. And I'm like, this is so weird. What? But I was already like in that state of like, dude, baseball could have me doing anything.
Yeah, true.
You know? Like, so it was kind of funny. I was just like, Chuck, I was like, yeah, I'm a Cubs stuff. Giving my brother all of my Brewers and Marlins stuff, my Giants stuff. You know,
you got some great apparel over the years.
Oh, he's flossed out. He's straight.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a big one for him.
Yeah, he gets some good stuff.
All right, man. So as far as you on the field, right? What you're doing on the field, you kind of hinted at it earlier, that you playing multiple different positions. You played 6 different positions in 2025. You played all 3 outfield positions, a lot more towards the end of the year, I think, as far as the outfield positions, and then all 3, second base, shortstop, third base on the infield.
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit. I mean, I think that like it's tough playing all those different positions. It's tough being really good at one position. It's tough being good at 6 different positions. How'd you balance it? Like, was that a crazy learning curve for you to pick up some more outfield reps?
Yeah. I would say like it's easier to play center than playing the corners. It's easier for me to play shortstop than like third base.
Okay.
But over time, it's like, it's just angles for me. Like the only thing that makes it tough is whenever I don't see it great. You know, it's just like, it's like a pitcher with like good tunneling, you know, like I don't have a problem with 100. I have a problem with 100 that I can't see, sort of thing. So this year was a good year because I kind of had an idea that might be a role that I could be in this year. And I trained like that this offseason, but didn't play any outfield, which was great. I was happy to play shortstop every day in Knoxville. That was good for my career. I needed to solidify that. But I'm always been a shortstop. That's always been my second nature. That's good. When I got to pro ball, I didn't get to play any shortstop, and I had to learn second. And I think that's when my eyes for like, dude, just do what you can to get your bat in the lineup. Like, I always aspired watching like Kike Hernandez with the Red Sox just do all of them, and I was always like, dude, that'd be a cool job to have, like just something like in that realm. You watched Tommy Edman destroy the postseason last year.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's like, I see that. So, but I had never played third to the caliber I thought I could. I never played the corners really. So
Yeah.
I was happy to get those reps. We went to Vegas, and I was just like, they're like, yeah, you're gonna play. No. What was it? Oh no, Owen. I went in for Owen. He got hit by pitch and his elbow locked up or something. So I just went out to center, and I was like, dude, nothing's harder than catching a punt. Like I returned punts in high school.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, nothing's trickier than like a punt that's like spiraling and it's like going over your head. So I was just like, I got to pick the brains of like Corey Ray. I watched a lot of Pete Crow Armstrong video.
Likewise.
You can't lose there.
Yeah.
And like something I learned is like he's in the best position like when he crosses. Like Pete's whatever, but his first step time is still better than everybody's. So it's like he's got the top end that's 80 grade, but it's the jump that's whatever. So working with like Corey Ray and kind of developing like some footwork towards the end of the year, that's like I can feel like I can run things down. And then the throwing aspect was something they had harped on me last year when the season ended to kind of like get better at throwing, get a little bit more carry. So that more than anything helped to transition all these positions. So then like every morning when I wake up and see the WhatsApp and says third base, I'm like, I know how I'm going to train today. I know what throws I need to make pregame or, what prep step is more so where my focus goes, like at shortstop compared to second, compared to center, to right and left. And I got fortunate at the end of the year. I had some cool moments playing the corners, which was kind of like okay, like almost to myself. Like obviously they kept running me out there, so I can do it. But to myself, it was almost like, look, dude, you can do it at a higher level. You just gotta expect yourself to. So.
Yeah, obviously that work last offseason, getting the arm strength up a little bit, played well because you were throwing out runners from right field at second base and third base a little bit towards the end of the season. Yep. I mean, it's pretty cool when like something that you like make a concerted effort to try to improve showcases itself like clear as day later in the season. Like that's how much of that is like being able to take to that smoothly is just like being like having that athleticism to do that. Like it just makes it a little bit more convenient because like, I mean, not to fluff you up too much here, but like you're a good athlete, right? Like it makes a difference being a good athlete going from playing second base on a daily basis to all of a sudden now you're in right field playing 3 times a week, but then sometimes you're at third base, sometimes you're in center field. Like how much does athleticism play in that adjustment period, I guess?
Tremendous. It's made all the learning curves easy.
Yeah.
But where I like the focus it's been like my developmental coaches, Dash Davis in AA, and all the few guys who helped me in AAA with my plan. Like for each position, I had a little routine that I would do a little bit differently. And I think like the athleticism is what I can rely on at game time and when bullets are flying. Like catching a punt, you're just gonna, all right, here we go. Like you look up for the last time and you got to send it. That's like pitchers at the top of the leg kick. Like, but that all comes back down from technique. If you're loose cannon and this caliber of baseball, it's too fine. The windows of timing are too small. You'll miss it, even if you are the best athlete. And you see that a lot in this sport. Guys who are really fast but can't take bags. Guys with good bat speed but can't hit heaters. So it's like, you got to find like the specifics of the technique and then find the similarities there. And I feel like that's where I really was able to make that stride. I constantly work on being a better athlete every day. I'm always focused on that. So that my ceiling is higher than, when I'm struggling, it's up. I can still play at a high level that way, but all the techniques I worked on to just make sure my eyes are in a good position defensively when I land. So when the ball's hit, yes, it does become just that flow, but that's how I would put it.
Well, I mean, I think that like that athleticism also like shows itself like you being a switch hitter, right? Being a switch hitter is like that's obviously no joke. There's not a whole lot of switch hitters in any organization at one given time. How I'm always curious about with switch hitters how you're trained, like how you're taking BP, how you're getting better from both sides of the plate, because like from from a normal person's perspective, right? It's that you are doing a full-time job of hitting right-handed and hitting left-handed. Are you taking double the amount of batting practice than what most people do? Are you taking more batting practice against or as a left-handed hitter because you're facing more righties than you are lefties throughout a year? Like how do you train as a switch hitter?
Yeah, that's a very evolving. Like my answer is very evolving.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of been like if you have a good planning system, you're probably doing something the same at least for a week window or at least 3-day window. And I say like the thing about switch hitting that I've learned about myself, like, and I can only give this year for an example because next spring training, by the time I get there, I might be needing something else in my life.
Yeah.
I take far less batting practice right-handed than I do left-handed.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's not for like mechanics reasons or anything specifically. It's mainly for the reason that when the lefty's on the mound, does it look weird or not? Like when I don't practice right-handed, now I'll practice loading and I'll do drill work, but I don't really hit a lot of batting practice right-handed because where the window of where the ball comes out is a little detail that will make me way worse.
Okay.
So towards the end of the year, I didn't hit any right-handed, but my right-handed swing was dialed because that's what's natural for me. I let that one play. It's fun to hit right-handed because I'm constantly like I'm playing baseball for sure. Like left-handed is the one where I have to be like a true professional. I feel like because the left-handed moves a little bit slower. That's just like most left-handers when they're switch hitting. So most of my work has to do with left-handed, and also that's where most of my workload is. So it's interesting to see how that overlaps. It's like maybe most of my bats are against righties, so that's where all my focus is. And I just take it like, oh, they brought in a left-handed. I just use this swing now. But like this swing mechanically is more sound than left-handed.
Okay. Are you naturally? Have you always switch hit, or is like are you a natural? Like, did you start righty and then you added in lefty hitting?
Yeah, I started hitting. I was a natural right-handed hitter, and I started hitting left-handed when I was like 7, and then in games full time when I was 10. So by the time I was 10, I no longer hit righty right.
Yeah.
Which was weird at the time, but it worked. I was just left-handed was way better. And multiple times in high school, my high school coach wanted me to give up right-handed, and then like I had it suggested to me in college, but it was interesting because I was in like this weird push pattern. In other words, just not loading right-handed correctly in college. By the time I got to indie ball, I had kind of figured out how to hit right-handed again because like I was like, this is how I'm supposed to be swinging.
Yeah.
So like one of the hardest home runs I have hit in pro ball is like it's a right-handed homer. So like when I get it right-handed, like it's good.
Yeah.
I am more of a line drive hitter this year, but the swing like historically wasn't this good, and maybe it's like the faster pitchers. Like I was always facing a slow lefty, so my swing had this like bad like jump move. Like I don't even do that anymore, so I don't even know how that works. But the life of a switch hitter is evolving. And then it was like we faced the Red Sox and they got 4 lefties. So I'm just trying to see like I'm gonna take the first day where I just do my left-handed routine and I take like my 1 round right-handed. I usually take like 1 round right-handed off of like angled darts or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I handled the lefties well that week. So it's just like I can go overwork that and then say I'm working on something and then it not show up in the game.
True.
You know, what are we really trying to do here? So it's like, it sounds goofy. It sounds like, yeah, he's just careless on the right side. But I'm like, I can't explain to you why it works. But this is how it's been working. So it gave me time to focus on my left-handed swing, which needed a little bit more attention pregame. And then so that in game, I could be brainless left-handed. And then right-handed is already brainless. So, and then post-game.
That does make sense.
In post game, you kind of evaluate and you be objective. That's when you can be critical. You got like an hour window. You can watch your at bats and you be like, I didn't like that. I did like that. Okay. And all that means is like, I don't have to think about it. It just means tomorrow, how is that going to affect the work? It may or may not. Okay. You did good there. You just missed your pitch because you weren't on time. Or like, man, you were never in a good position to hit this pitch. Okay. Tomorrow you're going to go at least see this shape. Maybe you don't hit it, you know, and that's like, you dive into it like that. You know, was the move wrong? Was the timing wrong? Am I looking at the wrong thing? You know, so it's like switch hitting over time has taught me like less of that.
Yes.
And more of like trust what you feel in the moment. And then after the game, that's when you can like objectively say, okay, I'm pretty sure I was thinking this. That didn't line up. That's why I chose top the zone. So yeah.
So you may, I mean, first of all, that's amazing. I think that's so cool the way you approach that. I think part of it too, like I mean, these things are all intertwined with each other. But like you talk about putting yourself in the best position defensively, how like it just comes like second nature, like different things come second nature. I think that's that same conversation for you hitting right-handed, where it's like you it's more of a natural thing for you right-handed, and so because of that, you can just trust that your body's going to be in the right position to hit.
Yeah.
And left-handed, you have to do that work so that mentally you do know that you're prepared to hit left hand. That's interesting, and I think that's cool.
Correct.
I think it's a really cool thing. You mentioned too that the right-handed hitting more of a kind of a, I guess, a line drive approach this year, and
showed up, yeah.
Yeah, well, so it's weird because I think that like that's more times than not when you're talking about switch hitters, they have more pop, like more like over the fence pop, I guess, left-handed than they do right-handed. Like, what is that? Is that the case for you? And like, why is that the case?
This year has been the case. My splits where I had significantly less at bats against lefties this year. But I think it has to do with all my homers, like the front arm. I think that you can kind of like, if this is the dominant arm, I feel like the extension can kind of like, you can take that down and in pitch, and you can really like, that's the one that lefties usually handle really good. Like the right-handed throwing lefties, they're usually the right-handed throwing hitting lefties struggle at the top of the zone generally. Like that's because this is dominant, so this usually works under. Like that's kind of how it works. And then I'm dominant here right-handed with my dominant leg in the back, so the swing's a little bit more like flat and shorter. So I think that's kind of how that works. And for me, like right-handed, I cover the top of the zone very, very well. You could there's probably like a little hole down and in because I'm a little short and flat.
Yeah.
But like if I'm looking for that location, I get to it well. So it's just like what are you giving and what are you taking? And I feel like a lot of lefties, like the switch hitting lefties, are right-handed throwers, so it works better down in the zone, which I think is more prone for like backspin.
Yeah, that's cool. I hadn't ever considered that. That's really
maybe not, just a theory.
No, I'm all in on it. You convinced me. I don't know if you may not know if it's true or not, but I'm all in. So there's one game that we got to talk about here. One play specifically on August 30th in Las Vegas. Let me paint a picture for the people out there listening. So the Iowa Cubs entered the top of the ninth inning down 7-6. Carlos Perez singles. Kevin Alcantara strikes out. Chase Trump walks. Ben Cowles pops out, and Forrest Wall walks. So you got the bases loaded, down 1 run, top of the ninth, 2 outs. You're up to bat. First pitch you see, tank, bomb, take the lead. Cubs lock in the save in the bottom of the ninth. But like that, I think it was a unique series in general because the Cubs traveled out to Las Vegas, and that doesn't have like playing out on the West Coast. For people that have watched Cubs prospects and Cubs minor leagues for a while, obviously Iowa used to play out in the PCL, used to play Las Vegas quite a bit. They are now in the International League, and so traveling out there to Vegas was kind of a big deal, kind of like a weird experience for the Iowa Cubs. So you throw that in the mix, you throw in a high-scoring game, you throw in kind of the craziness that was that inning, and then you go yard. I guess I'll have you talk me through that a little bit if you remember it, but part of it too, that's a long inning. A lot of things had to happen to get to you at the plate to take the lead and hit a grand slam to take the lead. At what point are you sitting on the bench or sitting in the dugout and thinking like, man, like this could be me. Like this is coming up all me.
I mean, I think like at certain points of the game, you can you're kind of like measuring it out. You know, you're kind of like, dude, like I need this last one. I need this last one. Whether the last one went good. And I'm pretty sure that day I had a tough first 3. But like that was where I was mentally like, dude, I need another one. Like, I need to get him. I just need to get the pitcher. I don't care. I just need to get him one way or another. I can hit it off of him. I just can hit it hard. Like I just need to beat the pitcher. So bases loaded. And I think it was a walk. I don't remember what happened. What did you say happened?
It was Forrest Wall walked right in front of you.
Yeah, it was a great.
There was a wild pitch before. It was a wild pitch. So then first base was open. He walked on a good at bat.
Right.
And then left the bases loaded for you.
Yeah. So wild pitch. I remember thinking that like wild pitch. His best pitch is like a splitter, the slider. He already punched me out on it in spring training. I remember it. I played with him too.
Okay, yeah.
Really good secondary. But like I know like once the catcher misses one in the dirt, I walk the hitter in front. The guy in the box has already punched out 3 times tonight. I'm getting a strike first pitch. So that's it. We're in the scoring position. I don't want to leave ducks on the pond looking at nothing. This is a good time, predictable count where I'm gonna get a pitch to hit. Like I'm make sure I'm like in the middle of the field, and he threw it like up and in. So when I'm trying to go through the middle of the field and they throw it up and in, like I already have like a natural uppercut. When I'm like trying to stay on top of the ball, it ended up being like a perfect sweet spot, just like up and in, and I just like spun it good, and it was fine in Vegas. So it was like I didn't hit it very hard. Made it hit at like 94 miles an hour maybe, and it was.
You think it was out when you made contact?
I knew it was out.
I
saw the way the ball was flying that week, and I'd hit it too high for it not to be a home run. Like usually I hit the ball like it'll be like if I hit it, it was top spinning. Like those are the ones that I'll hit hard, and I'll be like, dang, that didn't get out. But like this is one of the few the entire season, and all my home runs I had hit this season were all like in, and I like back spun it, and it was like I just got the head out in front. It was just one of those, dude. It was sick.
Was that your favorite moment of the year?
Yeah, no doubt. That week was good. I was working on something mechanical, left-handed, like I was talking about, over the last like month and a half, and so like it feels good when you get beat up in a game. Like you take 2 tough L's in your first 2 at bats, or maybe you line out. Like for some guys, like you line out twice and you still feel like you punched out twice. So either way, 0 for 2, either way 0 for 3, you're like you could be beat up about it, you know. And to win your last at bat of the game, like just shows like, yo, you were struggling. They had a good game plan for you, and you eventually like got to it, like or whatever the in betweens are, you know. So that's where I always try to like take those days. Like I've had some good moments of the year that come from like 2 hits or 3 hits. Like, wow, man, great job. You drove in runs. We won the game. Sick. But like struggling, and then like if you stay with the game, man, and like the game's gonna give you a chance at maybe it may not be tomorrow, it may not be tonight, maybe tomorrow, but like it gave you another chance. Like it just showed up. It's like
well, I mean, think about it, right? Like if you go 1 for 4 in a game with a double, there's a big difference between 1 for 4 with the double and the double was in the first inning compared to the 9th inning. Like you're gonna end that game feeling like, oh, like that was a pretty damn good game.
Right.
But like if you start with the first inning, you're like, I just went 0 for 3 the rest of the game. Like I suck.
Facts.
You know, that makes a big difference. But
exactly.
I mean, a couple more things. One is, so I know that, let me try to share my screen here. I was talking with Rich Biesterfeld, who is the photographer out in Arizona, but he makes his rounds around all the affiliates every year. And he sent me this picture. You were on the banner out at Knoxville at Smokey's ballpark. What was it like being the man front and center on one of these huge banners outside the ballpark?
Man, it was sweet. That ballpark is one of the best I've ever played in. That place is awesome. And it was cool for me. I hadn't been on like a billboard or nothing since like being in college and like, you know, being like an upperclassman, I suppose. But no, man, that was sweet. I was like, oh, that just looks right up there. You know, something about that's good. You know, apparently they liked it too, but that's why you be nice to all the media team. You know, you hook them up, you tell them what good of a job they do, because they really do. People in Knoxville do a heck of a job. But man, maybe that's why they gave it to me. I was like, man, y'all took some sick photos today, or what?
It's so cool, man. Like obviously like making the bigs is like the goal, right? Like I'm not taking away from that, but like being at an upper level minor league affiliate, and like that's you on the side of a baseball stadium. Like that's kind of like, it's not the major leagues, but like that's what you grow up like dreaming about, you know? Like that's sweet.
Yeah, in a way, that's part of the experience, you know. It is dope.
All right, man. Last question. Well, one of the last questions I had for you. I'm curious about the ABS system, because you got to experience that in AAA last year, the ABS challenge system, and that's showing up in Major League Baseball next year. For people out there, I think is it next year?
I don't know.
I think it's next year. They're doing the challenge system, like the 2 challenges in like that's what you guys had, right? It was two challenges in a game.
Yeah.
and I believe they announced that's coming back, coming
Awesome.
up to the major leagues.
Okay.
Like picture you're talking to a Major League Baseball fan that's like kind of uneasy, one where I don't know how you feel about it, if you're about it or not, but
Okay.
someone who's like not sure what to think about ABS, the challenge system coming to Major League Baseball, or even like a player that's established major leaguer, hasn't experienced it in the minor leagues at all. Do you like it? Like, what is that ABS challenge system like? Pros and cons.
Interesting perspective. Because I'm on both sides of the fence here. So, and in Cape Cod, the best year I played in the Cape Cod, we played with Cape Cod strike zones. I hit 314 with the same caliber pitch that I'm facing now, and it was between both chalk lines. That was the strike zone. So like the old heads who had to face who struck out 20 at Wrigley? Kerry Wood.
Yep.
Yeah, like you telling me those guys are going to be excited that we only have to hit 17? You know, it's like there's that part of it. I'm also the strike zone guy. I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, that's an inch off. Like that's off the plate. You know, like I was also under consideration too after playing all these video games growing up that the ball's got to be more than 50% in the zone. Like, if you're playing
as opposed to just nicking it,
yeah. If you're playing MVP 05 and it touches, that's not a strike. It's got to be like 50% in.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I always had like that perspective, and I felt that's like before that's how the game was being called. Obviously, umpires called pitches off the zone, but I feel like that's how umpires were more likely to call balls and strikes.
Yeah.
The benefit for the pitchers is that now. Also, I'm talking to the person who doesn't know nothing about the game. So the ABS is not automatic. It's not ball, strike. It's not that. It's only when somebody says, I don't think so. Like, and I think that is best because the best games I've played, nobody challenges the umpire. Like, even when it is a ball off, he's been so good all game. Everybody's like, yeah, that's probably.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. Yeah.
You know, that's probably there. So I think the challenge system is the right order of that. Now, guys, if teams had 10 challenges a game, I would be like, no, we can't do this anymore. And I don't think any more than like 4 is just what it should be. Like 2 to 3, like 3 was good because teams could burn one more and like no time. So it's like you can't say it makes the game too long, but 2 is good because then guys can't burn it. Like we're like, there's gonna be a big pitch later in the game, and you just challenged an 0-0 like back foot slider. You know, like for what?
Yeah.
So I think that's more or less like how I think about it. I think for me, I'm a strike zone guy. I used to be 5'10". Apparently, I'm 5'9" now. So
is that what ABS says? Like you got measured for it, right?
Yeah. So hey, make me 5'7". I want the Altuve zone. I want that.
Yeah. No, I hadn't even thought about like the umpire perspective. We're like if an umpire is being consistent, then teams are more likely to be like, oh, like, well, he's calling that all game long. Like, even if it might be an inch off the plate, like he's calling it all game long, he's consistent with it. So guys might be less likely to challenge in that scenario, that's kind of interesting. I hadn't thought about that perspective on it. But how much do you think that is? Well, I guess there's a difference between. Did you experience it when it was the full blown ABS, not the challenge system, or no?
Yeah, I did that in Instruction 2020. We did like all of our inter squads against other teams were like that.
That was kind of weird because I feel like that. Yeah, I feel like the zone got, because it was called like that, and because like you mentioned that you could. The zone was just kind of wonky a little bit, and like you saw guys like pitchers that were walking the world in AAA, and they came up to the majors, and they like their walk rate like sunk because it was like it was just different. Yeah, I'm thinking about like Riley Martin. Right, Riley Martin saw his strike zone or saw his walk rate as a pitcher go from like it was like 16% as a pitcher early on in the season, and then it shrunk down to 13%. I wonder how much that ABS had to do with something like that. So
yeah. I mean, I think it makes everybody better. I think everybody ends up figuring out where home plate is at. You know, that's what the game is supposed to be built off of. Even some of the people in AAA that went up to the big leagues, a lot of those people do pretty decent because they've already had time like being criticized. The problem I have is with guys up top, and I'm talking like I've been there and I have to say, but like, it's not, they're not held accountable enough, and then now they just throw people out the game. Like no one even hears an argument anymore. It's kind of like the game I grew up playing is not it. I'm not playing that anymore, which is
Yeah.
kind of like, it's sad a little bit. So I'm like, anything extra we're adding to the game, I'm always going to be anti. So it's like, we're mad about being at the ballpark for 4 hours. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. And I'm a player. I'm working.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid more. I'm getting paid 8 hours. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah, your hourly wage went up a little bit, I guess, right? With with the shorter games. Hey, so all right, I always like to, whenever I'm talking to somebody, whether it's on the podcast or interviewing them in person or whatever it might be, give guys an opportunity to show some love to some of their teammates, because I come on these airwaves weekly during the season, and I'm talking about players throughout the season. I'm posting on social media about certain minor league prospects and stuff like that. Who are one or two of your teammates, or however many, that you think deserve some extra love, that you think might be in store for a big season in 2026, maybe?
Man, I roomed with Bally my first year.
Okay,
Bally
yeah,
in AAA, we were roommates last year, and I was watching him just grow up. And
yeah,
I don't know. I've been saying he's ready. I got to this organization, and they were like, I was like, this guy's the player of the year. Like,
yeah, yeah,
God bless him. And then
100%.
he balls every day.
Yes,
And what I learned a lot from Bally is like how to like prepare for a game. Like Bally he don't need to do too much to be ready. Like that dude lives in like balling land. Like he's always
yeah,
playing the show, like on the bus. Like this dude's always in it. So obviously him. And then grinded a lot with Johnny Long at the end of the year. I
nice.
like Johnny Long. He makes me laugh every day.
I love
But yeah, I obviously he had a heck of a work he put together this year.
it. Yeah,
Let me think somebody in AA who BJ and BJ
yeah,
Murray.
yeah,
Those are obviously I was good friends with Cows. Cows got traded. I was good friends with Christian Franklin. He got dealt. Owen, big
yeah,
fan of Owen, big leagues. Kevin, big leagues. Bally,
yep.
big leagues. Shaw. I really enjoyed playing with Shaw last year. I felt like we're kind of like a lot of like we're a lot similar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's funny you bring up Christian and BJ, because I think that, like, between the three of you guys were always running for the highest walk rate in the system. You're like walking like madmen out there, like
BJ
just
was
great
walking
eye.
like that all year.
BJ was a little bit less this year. Like in years past, BJ's like had like a 15% walk rate or like higher, like
That's switch
every
hitter.
single year.
That's
Yeah,
switch
yeah,
hitter.
true. Yeah. And
You see
Christian
him
was
in
always that way
football?
too. Christian's always been, you see Christian got out of the 40-man roster too, which was pretty
Yeah.
sweet. So
Yes, man.
well deserved. So
It's that time for them boys, man.
yeah.
Hopefully me too. We'll see.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, you want to plug your YouTube channel before we leave?
Yeah. I'm the Five Guy on YouTube. Make vlogs about my life, my vlogs about being a pro baseball player, some insight on road trips and gear, stadium tours. We also have merchandise at HaydenCantrelle.com. and make batting gloves, custom arm sleeves. New Habitat hoodie has finally dropped. And some sliding mitts that I wear. So all the game equipment that I use in game, I sell it on there. So yeah, but
I
that's
love it,
it.
man. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much. I'll plug you in the description below for sure. But yeah, thanks, man. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, awesome, man. That was fun.
All right, everybody out here listening, thank you for tuning in. We will be back either in a week or two from now. We'll be back on the airwaves. Be sure to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave comments below, and then subscribe on anywhere where you listen to podcasts to Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you very soon. Take care.